An hour. No more than an hour. Hi, Paulie. It's good to see you. Silent Power. Great name. And Melanie Savage. Marianne. I'm waiting for a few more people to come on. Excuse me. And we're going to be talking about twin flames and starseeds. And we've been talking about community. Hi, how are you, Paulie? It's good to see you. And we're going to be talking about community, but we're also going to talk about this aspect of when you might be married. Good morning from Australia. I love that. Thank you, Paulie. Hi, I am Shaman. It's good to see you. Canada. Beautiful. So we're going to talk about when you're connected to someone, a twin flame. Many of the twin flames are starseeds, I've noticed. Not all, because unfortunately some people are told that there's twin flames by in a 5-minute psychic call, and that's not how that happens. You don't. People are just throwing around the twin flame label like a Gucci bag. Many of them are fake. But I know when you're a twin flame what happens. And some twin flames may actually replicate obsessions for some people. Not you. I'm not thinking you guys are that, but I'm thinking that the sad part is that there's a lot of people that are obsessed and they think it's a twin flame. Because one of the things I saw about a week ago, and like I said, I try to stay away from these creators because I don't I don't want to deal with it. But one of the things, the first thing they said, the first sign to a twin flame is you can't stop thinking of that person. That is insane. Because if you've ever had a first love in your life, you know that you actually had obsession over a person. And that's not one of the first signs at all. The other thing that's not real is your twin flame will activate you, and that's the only, as if that's the only person that can activate you. Can they hell yeah, they all activate you. There's no doubt that twin flames activate us. Absolutely, no doubt. However, other people will activate you as well. Soulmates will activate you. There can be deep healing in a 2-hour conversation on an airplane, and you'll never meet that person. You're either activating them, or they're activating you, or you're activating each other. It's not incredibly potent, but it's not unnoticeable. It changes your assemblage point from this to that. So there's a lot of misconception about the twin flame journey that is making people suffer unduly. And there are multiple aspects. And there's a lot of blocks, okay? If you've noticed on a twin flame, either two people are married to two different people, right? And quite often it can be that they're married to their high-level soulmate or soulmate, one of their soulmate tribe members, and they have a wonderful marriage. They have a wonderful marriage. In some cases, the sex is great. Everything's great. The money's great. It's all good. But there's a lot of moving parts to twin flames. And one of the aspects that is also being shown, which is not correct, is that in the collective numbers 444, 1111, 1212, 1010, 55, and so on and so forth, is a collective awakening and a particular message for each of you, depending on what you were thinking when you saw the numbers. Particular messages for you, but it is part of the collective ascension awakening. Mercury ascending says, I've never met a soulmate. I seriously doubt that. Because most of us move and incarnate with our soul, many of our soul tribe members. So I don't think that's true. People have this weird conception of soulmates is only a lover. Your soulmate can be your parent, your grandparent. They're part of your soul tribe. Does that make sense? So, met my twin flame, whatever, I bet it was. Paris Better says, met my twin flame, what a wild ride. Somebody asked me, how you can tell a twin flame. Of course, your mom. And that's just the beginning. My dog, I feel, is my soulmate. I get it. I'm in the twin flame journey. Okay, so one of the things that you'll see in a twin flame journey, besides that feeling of I've known you before, which by the way, you're going to have that feeling also with high level soulmates, by the way. It's the same feeling. You probably, I don't know if you guys have ever had a feeling where you've had your best girlfriend or best man, your best buddy, and you're like, yeah, we've been brothers in past life. There's no way in hell we didn't know each other, right? So that's soulmate. And so one of the things that you're going to see are subjective signs that only you see. So for example, let's say your twin's birthday is March 3rd, right? You're probably going to see 33, 333, things of that nature. You're also going to notice that your area code or zip code it starts with their number. You're going to also, and I'm not kidding, like my twin flames month and day is one of my expiration cards on my expiration cards, and so on. You'll see that you'll live on a road. I'm going to give you an example. I'm just going to make it up, okay? One of you lives across 3,000 miles away, and you live on, I'm going to make it up, I can't, I'm just going to have to tell you like this. El Centro, right? And your person on the other side of the country is living on Central Avenue. You're going to see that names appear that are very unusual, that there's no way in hell they should appear. You're going to see that when you're about to break away from them, you keep seeing their birth date or their year, the year they were born. So if they were born in 1975, you might see 1975 everywhere. And it's almost, and their month and day of birth everywhere. Especially when you're trying to break up and the universe is saying no, and you're so mad you're not listening. So there's a lot of that also. I don't think this is for everyone because, but you are going to be activated on multiple aspects, including some of you may start having telepathy, like you'll be able to hear and feel their energy. In a strange, real way. You'll start actually having incredible lucid dreams with them visiting you and them showing you their vulnerability and how they feel about you in their dreams. You might have prophetic dreams of them coming back, or visions in your meditation, or them leaving. You feel that they're going to leave before they do. Hi, Steffi. We live in the same the same apartment next to me. I got you. Yeah, so yeah, that's happens to me. Exactly. True. Paris Bitter says, all the factors just made sense. The age difference, culture difference, distance. Yeah, race difference, culture, religious difference. The telepathy is real. What else? I see lots of spiritual numbers. Yeah. I think about her in my dreams and she calls or messages me. Exactly. There you go, Polly. That's exactly what happens. So there's this feeling, I've said this before, like, when we were living together, we lived together a long time, and then suddenly he'd buy, like, I hadn't thought of lemon curd, but I was thinking about it out of blue. We never had bought lemon curd ever at Trader Joe's, giving you an example, and there he comes home with lemon curd, and I've been thinking about that exact time. Yeah, there's a lot, and those are just the tip of the iceberg. That's how I know Polly, that's how I know she's my person. Lady Quinner says, Kiddo says, he lets me know when he's doing really bad in dreams. It just happened for 20 years. Wow. I feel their emotions too, I believe. Exactly. The Paris Better says, the minute I could feel her emotions, she verified the days and times and it all made sense. Exactly. That's exactly it. So a psychic is not going to be able to do a 5-minute reading and tell you you're in a twin flame. Okay, that's what I do to actually find out. And also the trajectory of this twin flame union is going to be numerology. The month, the date, the year. I put that together. I get a life path. And then I do the same for the twin. And I also do that for the husband or the wife that the person's with. Because there's a story. You want to have the whole story, not just part of the story. You don't want to just fixate on your twin. You want to know, why am I karmically married, or why am I belovedly married to my beautiful soulmate, and why am I now meeting my twin? What the fuck is going on here? Like, I'm happy. What the hell? It's a good marriage. I feel safe. And my twin, I can already tell, is not going to be able to give me that. So what am I doing? What is going on? What is the process? And so quite honest, sometimes you're not here. It's not so much that you're being activated by your twin, though, don't get me wrong, but your twin is being activated by you because maybe your twin has addictions. Your twin has a lack of self-love. Your twin has this, that, and the other. And your life is great, and here comes your twin, your Moldavite in the human body, kicking your doors down of your comfort zone, and it's like, holy shit, what is this? And what it is that you need to really look at your beloved that you're married to, and look at that and realize that sometimes the twin needs to be activated by you, by your presence, okay? And then of course, you're activated too, but not to the level they are, because they're the ones that may have issues. And your marriage, in some cases, your marriage will continue until, and I hate to say it, until it is time for, do you understand? It's time for, I hate to say it like this, but I'm just going to say it because we live in 3D. Until your marriage ends by death, divorce, or betrayal, okay? And suddenly the doors just fling open. Meanwhile, in separation, your twin's been healing and working because you've been healing and working. You've been doing your chakras. And so because of the telepathy, what you're doing energetically is impacting your twin. And suddenly now you're ready to be in union. And quite often that's what happens. Hello from Northern Ireland. I love Ireland. I've always wanted to go. My favorite thing, you guys are going to be shocked, is Guinness. I mean, I love Guinness, and I've always wanted to go because I've had multiple past lives in Ireland, so it's like missing home. And yet I've never been. Weird, huh? Yeah, that's happening to me. I'm married, it's torture. Yeah, but the thing is, see, this is what I tell them. Depending on your marriage, okay, because I can't speak to your marriage, but when the marriage is good, and I see it, and I'll know before the client tells me, I'll throw the card. I mean, it's not a lie. It's the cards don't lie. Okay, my guides don't lie, so they don't care. Okay, so I'll throw and I'll go. Well, wait. Do you have a good marriage? Because I'm seeing that this is not a bad marriage. In fact, you guys are soulmates. And the client will say, no, we are happy. The sex is great. The money's great. Everything's great. But I have this obsession. I can't stop thinking of my twin. And then there are times when both me and the client we get advice from the guides. And it's obvious that this marriage needs to stay. Sometimes, though, the marriage needs to end. And part of the reason why your twin walked into your marriage is because your marriage was in the rocks already. And you might be too afraid to leave because you don't want to be alone and this and that and the other. And there's this fear of the unknown. And at that point, that's when the universe conspires to bring in your twin, again, the human Moldavite, to kick in the doors of your safe weird comfort zone that's based on absolute fear of being alone and lack. So another indicator is when you actually take the time to heal from the triggers and find the root cause. Absolutely. So I'm not alone. Absolutely not alone. It happens a lot. I can't tell you how many people I'm getting who are clients who are married to other people. Either both of them are married to other people or one of them is married to another person. Can one know and not the other? Yeah, it happens a lot. And the amnesia is important because they are on their own journey and they have soul contracts with other people and they're not ready to go through this process. Paris Better says, we get triggered to past relationships all the time, but the TF forces you to do the work. Yes, I agree with that. Quite often that's true. Right, I agree with that. Hang on for a quick second. There's a question coming in that's very important. I'm going to read it. My husband forgave me for meeting my twin. Well, you need to find out what kind of, your husband may be a high-level soulmate, which means that your husband is connected to your twin on a soul level and understands the soul contract on a soul level. It's possible. She's like, I came in at the right time, Marcy. And this beautiful woman, Wendy Perot, says, what happens when your twin flame passes away? What happens is that the opportunity of being activated and activating a new relationship based on better, more fair and balanced rules of engagement have been put into play. Because quite often when a twin passes away, that twin probably couldn't handle this anymore. Couldn't be there anymore. Couldn't live through this 3D anymore. Okay, there was suffering there. And sometimes when the twin passes away by their own hand, by health issues based on toxic self-annihilating behaviors, or an accident, it was time. And the best thing that could happen, I hate to say this, okay? I say this with incredible respect and incredible, as much empathy as I can muster in this particular live for you. Fancy Pants, thank you. But you have to understand, when the twin passes away, the relationship continues, but it's transformed. And you're not going to be able to connect with your twin until you realize, wow, Fancy Pants, thank you so much. You're not going to be able to realize that the conversation now is coming from a place of purity, okay? What I mean by that is that your twins, when your twin passes away, there's a couple things that happen when they pass away. One is, let's say it's by their own hand. They need to rest. And so you may not be able to communicate with your twin unless they're super, 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 super powerful in advance. But typically, if a twin has done it by their own hand, they're beautifully taken care of. They're beautifully, compassionately received. And they need to rest. Okay, and then they go through a healing, conversations with their guides, the Galactic Council, some of their soul tribe members, ancestors from past life and future lives and present lives, in different timelines and I'm going to say just planets. I mean, what the hell, we're here, right? So we're already woohooing it. But what I mean to say is, but when they're ready, then they come back. If it's by accident and there's a shock to the system, let's be honest, okay? Being hit by a car, being killed in a car, whatever, heart attack, whatever, where they're in and out. My husband died, and he was not a twin flame, by the way, but he was a high-level soulmate. He died of a heart attack, and at around 11-ish a.m., no, more like 10 o'clock in the morning. And by the time my son went to bed that night, he visited my son, and they've had lucid dreams and beautiful conversation ever since. I talk about it a lot. I did a live with my son last week. So the relationship with his father has continued on. Okay, my mother died last year. I have conversations with my mom, and they're very short with her. Okay, and I usually don't dream of her. She doesn't come in my lucid dreams. With her, it's more of a conversation during meditation. Oh, Tammy says, how do you sign up for a reading? You go to my website, which is sacred, like a sacred, Sacred Womb Temple Healing. I'll put it down in the notes, but also you can go on my link tree, and the link tree is going to give you. It says how to, it's going to say how to get a reading with me, and you're going to click on that, and then there'll be an intake form. It says book now. Don't worry, you're not booking now, but it's an intake form that I read. And then I will physically call you on the phone. I will call you. I don't care if you're in Dubai. I will call you. I will ask you, do you have a WhatsApp? And I will call you. There's a website, so you can go directly. Thank you, Tammy, for asking. There are people, scammers, who are posing as me, messaging you guys, following you guys. Please block them because they're scammers, okay? Thank you, Marcy. Thank you. She says, I highly recommend her readings. I had an amazing reading today where I was crying, she was crying. It was like, and her mission, a lot of you don't realize, but a lot of you have amazing missions here. And part of the separation is done so that you guys can actually have the time to get yourself ready and rock and roll. Okay? Thank you, Polly, for blocking those scammers. But what I'm going to say to you is, actually not many of you, all of you are on a mission. So part of this twin flame activation is for you to go, I hate to say that, but you're being brought to the dark night of the soul. And because of your natures, because many of you are starseeds, I believe all of you are starseeds, that the dark night of the soul is going to make you ask the right spiritual questions. You know what I'm saying? You might overdrink, you might smoke pot just because you need to soften the edges or do shots, whatever. And at some point you'll go, fuck this. I need to find out how to heal this because I'm really hurting, and my twin's like running like hell, or I'm afraid of my twin. I don't understand what's going on, and you'll start looking for information. And you'll start seeking truth within yourself and without. And unfortunately, some of you, and I've have some, clients, new clients, and people who are not my clients who have shared that they've been scammed. So your vulnerability puts you in a path to some really shitty people out there, and it's really Don't beat yourself up on that. There's no point. You're going through something, and right now that's what you need to do. I'm not going to judge you at all. We've all been there. But what I will say, at some point you need to be your heart frequency needs to be allowed to ring the bell, the red bell that says, okay, enough of that. Now let's really look for some answers. And at that point, when you start your spiritual practice, your daily spiritual practice, your spiritual compass will emerge from your heart chakra. And from that point, don't freak out when you get downloads. Don't freak out when your guides are standing, it's seemingly in front of you, or where you're getting incredible, magical, wise messages, and your life path will actually reveal itself over time. You'll be beautifully escorted by divine light beings to your mission. But the trick is to be awake to that and to be okay with that. Paris Better says, do life path never has to match for twin flame? No, it doesn't. Let me reread it correctly. Do life path numbers have to match for twin flame indication, or is it just one method? I had one client where it was a 3939, and I had another client where it ended up being 99. And I can tell you that that's not true, because mine is 5 and my twin is 11, which is 16, which is the tower, which is exactly what has been our experiences. Huge heights going to, like skyrocketing into the bubble love phase again and again. And then the tower collapsing because we haven't done the proper excavation and work. Okay, that's mine. And other people, they'll have an interesting life path with their husband and a totally different life path with their twin. Or guess what? That's the one that blew my mind. When the husband and the twin have the same life path. What do you think of that? Polly says, I'm doing without any substances. Good for you. That's incredible. Make sure you do a lot of journeys with nature. And I'm getting water for you, Polly. Water, shower, ocean, whatever. Victoria says, I have a feeling that I'm in the midst of a spiritual awakening. It's been pretty painful so far. Yes, it has. I believe you. Tara says, I'm totally been scammed in the beginning. Exactly, Tara. It's messed up. Marcy said, we need to do the work in order for union to happen. We are in school here, just like in the 5D. Absolutely. Absolutely. Hello, friend. How are you, my beautiful soul? Beautiful. I gave up on mine. I'm too old. Well, you can still continue the work. And I don't know what you mean by too old, because you have to understand that what you build today will stand tomorrow. Okay, that you can't give up like that, because sometimes, you know what I love about the Europeans? They'll build things that they know they'll never enjoy. There's an old saying. It's not really a saying, but it says, I forgot what it starts out with, but it says planting trees, fruit trees that you know you'll never eat from. That means that in this incarnation, you won't eat from it. But in the next incarnation, you may be born in the same lineage or a neighboring village or whatever, where there is the fruit, or somebody's planted trees they know they were never going to eat from, and there you are eating from the fruit. So in the case of a twin flame, and that the runner chaser is not working, you work on yourself, and that the telepathy, this umbilical cord that follows you and your twin, that ties you together, what you feed you feeds them. And when you cross over, there'll be a conversation, and you may return as twin rays in a 5D, in 5D Earth. How can I help myself awaken? There's so much energy work that needs to be done. It's a lot. I'm living in the country. It's hard to get to the water. I got you. Yeah. Showers then. And okay, so go in the shower, Polly. And as you close your eyes, imagine that you're actually showering in a beautiful waterfall where there's moss and just gorgeous energy, and then chant a Sanskrit mantra. Okay? And so that you activate the water to be even more healing for you, and literally transport yourself in another place, but in the shower. So close your eyes. Don't fall, obviously. I'm not being funny. And you do that. Glad to catch you live. Your wisdom feeds my soul. It's been a rough week. I'm so sorry, Stephanie. It has been a hell of a week. Shay, I was told my husband is my twin flame, but he feels more like a karmic. Yeah, I wish I could tell you what it is. And here's the thing about karmic. Here's the other weird thing that is such a lie. I don't know why people... Do you realize that we all have karma and we're all karmics? Do you understand why we're in 3D? Because we're all karmic. We're all kind of screwed up, or else we wouldn't be here. Baths too. Yes, thank you, Melissa. So The karmic aspect is that you can be in a soulmate connection, and it's a karmic. Karmic is runner chaser. It's toxic. It's karmic, right? But in the twin flame debacle of many creators, there is no toxicity in twin flames. Well, what is the runner chaser if not toxic? So the only way you would have to know, Shay, is I don't know. I don't know who told you he was your twin, and I'm not the the queen of twin flames, but I've done it for so many years that I'm pretty on the spot. And I talk to people, and I ask them before I take on a client, I do a 15-minute call to make sure they're okay if I don't see a twin flame connection, but a soulmate connection. What if someone is popular and no one believes me? What if someone is popular and no one believes? I don't know. Thanks for the tip. You absolutely. Starting to pull myself from the deep, dark place. Thank God. I'm glad you're doing that. Blessed with melon. What happens when your twin decides to return to his wife? I don't know what happens. It depends on the situation. I can't answer that question. That is a question that has a lot to do with soul contract sphere. There's so many levels to that. It could be soul contract with the wife. It could be that she's also part of your soulmate tribe. It could be that the fear, because of what is elicited by being with a twin through the root chakra, through the sexual chakras. It can be very incredible. It could be the fact also that they have self-loathing and they don't feel deserving of this incredible, intense love. And so they run to what they think they deserve. People go back to their abusers. I'm not saying that's your situation. I'm just saying there's so many possibilities, and I can't answer it for you personally. Wendy Perot, I'm destined to not have a strong love if my twin flame passed away young. He was only 30. No, that's not true, Wendy. Not at all. You could actually have a twin, and this is going to woo-hoo. I bet you I lose 20 people when I say this. Your twin could get to a place where he's so healed that he could actually be a walk-in. And a lot of people still, it's shocking to me how people don't know about walk-ins. Walk-ins are souls that go, I don't want to be a baby. I don't want to be diapered. I don't want to go to grade school. I don't want any of that shit. Just give me a body let me get somebody who's depressed, doesn't want to be here. And I'll take on their body. I'll still have the same ego, but I'm coming with my own coding. And then I'm going to go look for my twin because I really screwed up. Okay, Wendy? That can happen. And also, Wendy, because we have concurrent incarnations, you could have a twin flame more than one. I kid you not. Maybe he was your shadow twin and your light twin is about to come. Don't ever think it's over. It's not. Don't ever think 3D. You cannot be in a 3D consciousness and be in a twin flame journey. That doesn't make sense. Though it may. It's not logical. Okay, 5D in its very 5D, 60, 70, all of the, dimensions they're not logical concepts in 3D. Okay? So just remember that. I hope that helps because I don't want you to suffer like that, Wendy. It's not over. Yes. Marcy says start with meditation. So I am Shaman says, so weird. I saw another creator on TikTok today suggesting sending unawakened TF Joseph. Yeah, she probably, no offense. That's what I've been saying all along, right? It's interesting. A lot of TikTokers, twin flames. I'm not saying that, but I'm noticing a lot of them are checking out my stuff. I mean, I know who's coming on my page. I'm not clueless, and I see who is doing that. And it's whenever I do anything, but also it could be the 100 monkey theories. Let me tell you what that is. I don't know if you guys have heard of the 100 monkey theories. What that means is, and they've studied that, this is science, anthropology, or whatever, not anthropology, whatever it's called. Anyway, it's the concept of chimpanzees and monkeys on like an island in the South Seas, and they learn how to use a tool. And then suddenly, monkeys in other countries that have never met each other learn how to use the same tool. So it could be that we're on the same wavelength also. Does that make sense? Are you charging right now? No? I don't know what charging means. Yeah, I have a recommendation. Thank you, Marcy, for saying that. I have a list of my books, the books that I think you guys should read. And I've only used a certain amount of books because I think those are the books that are like the beginnings, that are good beginnings. And for you to look at. But the Becoming Supernatural with Joe Dispenza is the perfect book for the logical twin. I talk about it in my video, One Logic. It's called Logic something. I forgot the title. You're welcome, Wendy. Yeah, and Polly says, I've heard about this walk-ins. Yes. Allison Love says, do I have a twin flame incarnate? I don't know. Yeah. Ziva says, I'm tired of this connection. I want a soulmate, but energetically, he doesn't let me. I get you. It's not so much that he doesn't let you. Your soul doesn't let you either. Not to mention you have other beings, like beings that are very much vested in what happens to you guys. Twin flames don't incarnate every time you incarnate. Not every time. Like my husband, when he crossed over, was finally in union with his twin. I Am Shaman says, yes, Tony, he promised me to read the books. We'll see how it will go now. That's fantastic. Congratulations, I Am Shaman. That's good news. My life path number is 5, and hers is 6, so that's 11. Not a clue what that means. 11, and I'm not going to do this for everyone, guys, because we'll be doing, I'm not doing that for everyone. But 11, hang on, is the muzzled lion. 11 is the muzzled lion. And it's a clenched fist, muzzled lions. There's a trials, interfering force of a third parties, conflicting desires. It's a tough battle. So there are some lessons that you're being asked to. Your soul contract was to learn how to stop being so codependent and stop listening to other people's advice that really don't know shit. So whenever you take a love advice from anyone, make sure that they're in a relationship you'd love to experience, or else don't take their advice. Use them as a ranting and rave board. Like rant and rave with them all you want, but don't take their advice. I've made that mistake when I was younger. Love says, are you answering general questions? No, I don't do readings. I answer not general questions that would help other people. So if it's a question I think is going to help other people, like when a twin flame passes away, that's an excellent question that can help a lot of people. Because at some point, we're all going to go through it. So it's a good question. Thank you for the question. I talked to my twin today, our video chat. Definitely recommend Dr. Joe. Oh my God, I'm so happy for you. Thank you for the roses tomorrow. Hoping he reads it. Yeah, I hope so too. Wow, that was accurate. Oh, good. I'm glad. Thank you. Well said. Your birthday plus your month and year. Paris better. Thank you for the roses. I appreciate it. I am Sean. Yeah, you guys need to start following each other. That's one of the things I keep recommending. You know what I mean? So I actually, there was somebody that was asking about who's in London. I want a friend in London, so I actually did it. Hi, how are you? How are you, Teacup? Cup. So yeah, please keep in touch. A lot of you are my clients. A lot of you aren't. But it'd be nice for you guys to talk to each other. I've got clients in Dubai, South Africa, Australia, England, Ireland. I've yet to get a French person. I'm good. I'm glad you're good. And thank you for the roses. Kim Miller says, my twin has got caught up in addictions and left our marriage. How do I cope? You do energy work. You sage him remotely. You work on your chakras every day, and you work on his. Because if he's an addiction, that means his childhood was really fucked, and he is trying to smooth out the edges. And this is all hands on deck. This is an SOS. So you need to work on you, because it's like, think of your twin inside your body. Think of yourself as being a woman. I don't care if you're a man or a woman. And you're carrying and you're feeding your twin. Everything you feed feeds the twin. Everything you feed your twin is what you feed yourself mentally, emotionally, spiritually, physically. Your chakras. No one. I don't understand how hard it is but people can't wrap themselves around what they can't see. But chakras. Let me put it that way. Think of a light bulb. Think of 9 light bulbs, because now we have 9. We had 7, but we've been upgraded. Think of 9 light bulbs, and all the light bulbs have been turned off. Not easy, right? So think of you've only turned on 1 light bulb. It's kind of shadowy. It's unpleasant, isn't it, the lighting? You have to turn on all your light bulbs, and you need to clear them. And then you visualize your twin. Most likely his blockages are in the root and sacral chakra, which is, of course, messing up his solar plexus, which is really fucking up his heart. And at that point, so if you were to test his chakras, you would probably see a lot of problems in the root. It may not be there or completely blot out the whole sheet, which I learned from, I talk about how important chakras are and how it doesn't make you a spiritual guru to have really aligned chakras. It doesn't make you better. It's like going to the gym. We all have muscles, but let's be honest. When people end up at the gym every day, an hour a day, 6 days a week, their muscles are going to look better than a person not going to the gym. Isn't that correct? So it's the same. So you're going to a spiritual gym every day, 7 days a week, without fail. You meditate every day. You work on your chakras every day. And in your case, Kim, you need to sage yourself first and sage him every day. And I'm in Central Florida region, goddess of Tantra healing. Wonderful. Good to see you, by the way. Then I got hit with an intense energy surge. It's been hours and I'm still recovering. I'm sorry you're going through that. Is it common to have body aches and headaches during the awakening process? Yes, it is. Can you explain how you can sage remotely? I have a video on that. But what I mean by remotely is like I sage my son every day. I sage my twin every day. Let me explain. So I sage myself beneath my bare naked feet, no socks, okay? I sage between my legs. I sage under my armpits. I sage around my head, behind me, and so forth. And I say I attract only people of light. Only people of light come to me wherever I go. Abundance of love, health, and wealth follow me wherever I go. And then I sage whoever I think is more important on that day. I will be divinely guided to my son, for example, first, or my twin. And I will do the exact same thing I just said for myself, for them. And that's how you sage remotely. And it works, believe me. It is common to have body aches and headaches. Yes, it is. Anyone else have lots of dreams with their twin or soulmate connection? I bet. Then I got hit with an intense, and it's here. Are one of the twins always obsessed with healing? Ziva asks. That's a really good question. I think yes, actually. I think one of them starts getting obsessed and may fall off the trail, off the path, because amnesia will set back in, and then there'll be another meeting with your twin, and then there'll be a resurgence of an awakening, an activation, and then the twin will run or you will run, and then you might fall asleep again. It's a push-pull dynamics, and then eventually the obsession of really healing comes full circle where you're like, I better do something because I hate the way my life is going. I Am Shaman says, oh yes, his root is completely messed up, as was mine. I asked him to meditate to come and work on it. Beautiful. White sage? Yes, Kim, I use white California sage and concurrently with Palo Santo. I also use copal. And when I use copal, I have a feather. I have a few feathers. Happy I made the live chat with you all. Oh my God, of course, Goddess of Tantra. She has a great page you should visit. Hi, those like everyone, send her some love. Absolutely. I feel a lot in my root chakra. Is it him or me? It could be him. It could be you. I don't know. But I have a video under sex magic and other energy healing. You can go to my video, go all the way down. And there's a woman with very dark skin and white hair. And it says the proper way to work on your chakras. Okay? I found beautiful feather today. So happy. Oh, that's such a gift that you found it. That's beautiful. Congratulations. Feathers are gifts. Does it matter what sage you use? Yes, it does. California white sage and Palo Santo is going to be better than I don't know why they sell rosemary. I don't know why they sell, because it actually doesn't burn very well. Josh says, I see. Okay. This is Sag, really, my twin flame, but every time I see 222, I was thinking about her, and she has 222. Excellent. Hi, baby. Hi, sweetie. Kim Miller, my twin don't believe in any of my beliefs, but I keep... Okay, thank you, Zani, for the roses in her people. Let me look at that. Seeing mine... Okay, hang on. Seeing mine in person for the first time in 8 months this summer, trying to calm the nerves. I hear you. Just keep going into your meditation and your chakras. And you know, what you want to do is just get grounded. Get grounded before you get out of the car. Before you get in the car to drive to the meeting place, get grounded, okay? Every time I have a dream about me and my twin together, I wake up with a migraine, Teacup says. That's interesting. When the next time you have a dream with your twin, see if it's a lucid dream, because obviously you're remembering. And ask before you fall asleep, do the following. If I'm going to have a dream with my twin, I'd like me not to wake up with a headache. I would like to wake up absolutely fantastic. Don't even say I don't want to be awake with a migraine. Say, I'm going to wake up incredibly clear-headed, incredibly empowered, incredibly happy, incredibly light. That is my intention. When the dream happens with your twin, say, so when I wake up, I'm going to feel incredibly empowered and incredibly clear-headed. Try to do that, okay? Set the intention. Don't be a victim, because what's happening now is that you're thinking, because look at what you just said. I have a dream about me and my twin together. I wake up with a migraine. And you don't want to have that happen. Do you know what I'm saying? You don't want that to happen, okay? Because you're going to rewire the brain to think that's how it works. So don't do that. Reject it by positively changing what you're saying. Does that make sense? In other words, after this dream, I'm going to feel fabulous. My head is clear. In fact, I'm opening my third eye. Say that too, if you don't mind. Marcy, thanks, Tony. Absolutely. Yeah, I remember them vividly too. Exactly. You're having lucid dreams. You're a lucid dreamer. There aren't that many people on the planet that have lucid dreams. They're not. It's really cool. And, yeah. Let me see. Any other questions? Strange. Trying to get outside more. Exactly. Well, don't try, do. I know, I have a lot of nerve. I'm home all the time. But I have to go outside. I'm always so tired lately. It could be that you need to just relax and chill. You may need a lot of nurturing, and take baths, chant to the water, chant Sanskrit, like Om Shri Mrim Kleem, whatever. Find a Sanskrit chant you love to activate the water. So as you step in it, there's a healing vibration. Remember Dr. Emoto's water study, right? Khadija says, hi, I'm new here. I keep dreaming about water like a beautiful river scenery. Oh, that's beautiful. That is beautiful. What else? There we go. I was hoping you'd accept.
Hi.
How are you? So we have a special
I'm
person here
good.
that we all love, Obadiah and David. So go
Hello, everyone.
ahead. I'm so glad you're here.
Thank you for having me. I'll put my camera on.
Okay, cool.
Oh my goodness.
I
All
could feel
right.
almost the hug we shared. That's beautiful. It is unavoidable to go on the twin flame journey. I don't want to deal with the turmoil and drama. Well, Amanda, you have free will, but you're still going to deal with the turmoil, because at some point, some part of you is going to be awakened and you're going to actually collapse. So you either handle it now or handle it. It's really up to you. You have free will. You have free will. I'm a lucid dreamer, journal them. Fantastic goddess of Tantra. Does everyone has a twin flame? No, not everyone has a twin flame. So go ahead, David, please. I'm just reading the questions.
Oh,
Can
I
you see
love
them?
this. I'm just listening to you guys and learning so much, and
Oh, you're a
me,
great teacher.
thank you. I
We,
appreciate that.
we talk about you all the time. I'm
Oh,
always
you
referring
too.
people. Yeah, no, I'm always referring people to you as well. I always have lucid dreams about love, but no one specific. That's a good beginning, Amy. Hey, darling, it's Anissa. Hi, how are you, Anissa? So David is here with us. So David, please tell us some of the downloads you've been getting that you want the collective Twin Flame Starseed journey to understand.
Um, well, let's see. So it's definitely a journey that requires a deep level of surrender,
Yeah,
a deep level of surrendering really to your higher self, to the path of unconditional love,
yeah,
and being okay with your ego shattering. And I really love how you were talking about the chakra system and
yeah.
how you have to get used to your twin being with you all the time and
Mm-hmm.
feeling that presence. And it's almost like I'm adjusting to the feeling of it being really like a twin, like your other half, someone that you were birthed through a canal with. Like you guys came out of different portals, but for some reason, I was awakened to this journey 2 years ago during COVID, but
Right.
being more integrated now, and just having confirmation with my twin,
Hmm.
it's been so revealing that we have been living a life that's parallel,
Wow.
and it's it's allowed me to really surrender to the path of love in such a intimate yet like traumatizing way, just because
Yeah.
I'm still at the beginning stages of it. But
Yeah.
I mean, it's required me to completely like let go of any like conceptualizing of what I thought love was, and to really just allow myself to receive this unconditional love and allow it to
Mm.
heal and transform me from the inside out. And yeah, it's been a journey.
Yeah. No, it sounds like it. And I just want you to know that everyone here is sending you love. They're so happy to see you. I've seen Divi videos. I love your videos, David. So I just want you to know you're loved, and you're loved because you're authentic, and you're loved because, it's. As I was telling people in one of my lives when we were talking about you, I said it's not a flex to be in union with a twin. It's a twin flame, not a twin ray. And so really what's beautiful about you is that you're expressing your journey, and you're having all these incredible downloads, and being a star seed, there's a lot of that aspect that you're sharing. And I think of all the creators, I think you're the only one I actually listen to. And I'm not saying that because I'm so great. I'm saying that because you're the only one that resonates the truth
Wow.
of this journey, and the collective truth of this journey, and the collective pain of this journey. You know what I mean?
Thank
Yeah.
you. I
Yeah.
received that. That's so confirming. I
Yeah.
oftentimes, I mean, I'm just like anyone else. I had to, I had to block my twin to speak my truth on TikTok,
Yeah.
because of how activating it is. And I know that they listen, like I know I can feel it, and so it's not like it really did anything, but just to be able to come from this place, like it was, once you're activated on the twin flame journey,
Mm-hmm.
it's like they're like always watching you. You're
Mm-hmm.
always in each other's hemispheres. Whether and I played the game of pushing it away. I played the game of
Yeah.
resentfulness. I played the game of like, just because I felt so much pain, and like I thought I was at a place of like healing, or I thought I
Yeah.
was at a place of like I'm about to blow up in like LA and like modeling career and everything. And then all of a
Wow.
sudden my
Yeah.
twin flame hit me, and it was like
Yeah.
I had to go into complete surrender. Like my life got completely ripped upside down. It's literally the Moldavite, the
Yeah,
Moldavite of
isn't
life.
it?
Yeah.
That's what I call, yeah, it is a Moldavite in the human form. And it's hopefully what I'm finding. Here's what I'm finding, okay? I'm finding that many of you that are born in the last 30 years are coming in with much more upgraded structures. In other words, much more upgraded DNA. So I had a download today with a client, and I said to her, because there was fear, this, that, and the other, and they showed me the figure eight of DNA being upgraded. And the DNA upgrade, for the reason is some of you are already born with a lot more, let me say, a better hardware, if you will. It's kind of think of a computer, and the computer is, you can't download software on a flip phone. You can't download software, right, on an iPhone 4. It will not work. And so what's interesting is, so many of us who are born much, later than you guys, you young guys that are coming in, you women and guys that are coming in, you've already have a lot of the cellular DNA structure that is activated to a higher sphere so that you guys can get downloads. And then many of us are going through a DNA, and all of us collectively are being upgraded in our DNA. So that junk DNA, that's really junk that you keep talking about, is actually being activated. And so you're going to have physical malaise. You're not going to eat what you used to eat. You may stop eating meat completely. I'm finding that to be true. And you're going to have pains and aches, and you need a lot of oxygen, and you need to be in nature. And I think that's what's happening with you, David, is that you're in nature, you're in water, you're in this, you're in a beautiful paradise to help with your healing and your journey, right? And a lot of you need this. A lot of you need to take a 3-day weekend, a getaway, and book an Airbnb, a cabin, grab your groceries and your journals and your high frequency music, and go away somewhere alone, okay? Alone, or with a girlfriend or friend that's that's going to understand the boundaries, right? Lay out nude in the sun, okay? Get your root chakra, your yoni and lingam in the sun for 15 minutes. You know what I mean? And allow your root chakra to be activated by the sun. Does that make sense? But you're gonna have to do that, David. You're in a perfect place for your journey.
Mm.
Yeah,
Yeah, it's wild because I was wanting to stay in LA. I was thinking that like I was it's this is the thing. It forced me, the twin flame journey forced me to come home, and
yeah,
I talk about it on my videos, come home
yeah.
to my family, and it like my life just started to switch, and I was like, okay, I have to go face the fear
Yeah.
of what I'm afraid of at home. But then
Right.
once I got here, I realized that like I was moving through the fear really fast, and then I started to transmute energy for the island, and like
Wow.
I just get instant confirmations of, because it's such a small space of land and just surrounded by water, the
Mm-hmm.
manifestations have sped up so quickly.
Wow. Right
The
on.
he, yeah, everything just kind of
Wow.
completely expedites to the front of like what I need to work with. So like every day I'm waking up, it's like I know exactly what I need to like go of. The dreams are
Right.
more intense, but then I can
Right.
walk straight to the ocean, and then
Right.
the expansiveness of the ocean just drains all of that dense energy, and then I get downloads while I'm in the water that I can share
Right.
with you guys. So
Yeah.
yeah, it's definitely yeah. Yeah.
It's incredible. What you may want to do, and I say that to a lot of clients, is to uh, chant a Sanskrit mantra. I used to, and I have a video I did where I was running on the beach in Malibu, and every day it was a mile. So I would chant the whole way down. One day, after 30 days of chanting like that, I talk about it. And that's when it hit me how water was really incredibly a huge activator of bridging 3D into 5D. Suddenly, I
Mm,
must have been in 5D because suddenly I've stopped. I'm like breathing heavy, and around me, I'm seeing all these light beings walking beside me. And I'm not talking about, it's like I couldn't believe it. And I realized that the activation of the water and the Sanskrit, which is a mathematical language, you know what I mean? It's got an incredible precision to it, activated my ability to walk out of 3D, right? And literally walk in 5D, where suddenly my optical vision, my 3D eyes could open up and see what was always around me. So you may want to incorporate that
mm.
because you're already getting amazing downloads.
Wow, I'm definitely open to that. I'm looking for everything I can to just integrate this because it's
Yeah,
intense.
I hear you. There's the comments. I found my twin in 2021 June, then met my twin flame on phone call this journey. COVID was a massive awakening. Rachel says it's when all mine started as well. Yes. Let me see what else. I'm full of aches and just want to eat food these days. Very good, Danny. I'm hungry too, but nothing sounds good. Food never sounds good. You need to probably fast. You need to probably do a juice fast. Need some nature and good vibes. Exactly. Yes, Tony, physically ill from pork first and then dairy and then sugar. Fruit is like these days. Exactly. Yeah, you'll find that your body, as I got the download. They're upgrading our DNA, and they're upgrading it because we need to have the right hardware. Think of a computer. The hardware has to be upgraded before you can download the software. And at some point, you know how your computers get obsolete? Okay, they get obsolete because you can't upgrade hardware, but we are made of water and crystals and so forth. And so they can actually work on us. And quite often, when you wake up in the middle of the night, you might see geometric patterns or you might see bright lights, and they're actually working on you. They're actually downloading light codes. Does that make sense?
So good.
Yeah. I love that you're
I
here.
got to download too. When you see the numbers,
Hmm.
and that's a sign that like you've been integrated into a new light body version of
Yeah.
yourself.
Samantha's asking, does your twin flame and my birthday have a meaning? Born 3/3 and twin is 11/11. There's some meaning to it, but you need to do your year. You need to do the year, okay? Because one is and 11/11 on its own is powerful, but 11/11 would be 22, which, hang on for a quick sec. 6 is love, right? But it's not accurate because that's not your life path, because you need your year, Samantha, as well. Oh, you're both born in 1997. All right, so go ahead and give me, because I don't want to do it now, but go ahead and give me 1111, okay? And give me and add the 1997 and give me your numbers, your final numbers on both of those, okay? Oh my God, yes, sometimes I wake up or half asleep and see geometric patterns in my eyes. Yes, you're being upgraded. Hi, Liz 1010. We have a special, amazing healer and twin flame, beautiful soul. Obadiah David is here, believe it or not. So Liz, I'm glad you're here. What about 1980 as a birth year? What does that alone have a significance? Not really alone. Hang on for a quick second. Alors, ça fait 18. Alors, ça fait 9. Ça fait 9. Yeah, actually, if you add it, see, 9 is like 0. So when you add 9, that's 18, that's 9. And then you've got 9. You're all 9s, 1999, 1989. You're all 9s, believe it or not. That's pretty powerful, actually. But then you would have to add your numbers, your month and day. You know what I'm saying? Question for David. When I choose to lock my hair 6 years ago, I entered a spiritual awakening. Wow. Go ahead, David. I think that's interesting about hair. People don't talk about the power of psychic connections with hair. What do you think?
Yeah, that's definitely resonates with me. So my life journey started when I was driving to California, and I actually had a an experience with a soulmate of mine, and it was before I knew I wanted to live in California, and we stopped in this valley called Dragon Valley, and we I braided all of my hair, and an activation happened where we started doing like the same movements, and then we started to see symbolism in the rocks, and then that's when the earth started to really communicate with me, and it was in like the Utah energy. So I was really connecting to the earth for the first time, and like the first time I was like on the West Coast. And so, and was getting downloads that I had to do with something with how my hair was locked up and braided. And so I knew that that was the start of my journey. And so ever since then, I've just allowed my hair to grow out, which you have to, I would say, your hair carries information, it carries weight, it's ether. And
Yeah.
so like your nails as well. I realize when my nails are long, that's why I like to grow my nails out. When I'm doing light work with my hands, I can cut through
Mm-hmm.
energy a lot easier. Um,
Huh.
so when our bodies are, I see it as a tree. So when if our branches are long, you know, some people like to trim their branches. Some people like to keep them like knee. Some people like to keep it short. For me, I've just been continuing to grow it out because I feel it's a sense of protection for me to really filter through the downloads that come through. Instead of
Mm-hmm.
like it being like immediate, it's like my crown integrates the messages, and then once it gets to like my cranium, which the brain is like, how I see it is like a filter of light, like our light bodies
Mm-hmm.
receive information. And so so depending on what you're carrying in your hair, you know, it's important that like some people trim it. Like my twin actually just trimmed their hair to cut off timelines and densities, which
Oh,
has
wow.
been a complete process, yeah, of their cleansing. And then they just did some
Mm-hmm.
plant medicine. And so our connection is very clear right now. And I felt that, so that it clears through distortions when you trim your hair. But if you're harnessing the energy in a way that is in uniform with like your makeup and your light codes,
Uh-huh.
yeah, the longer your hair gets is like the stronger the downloads get for me at least.
Yeah, that makes sense. They talk about that like with Native Americans, they had a tribe of Apache in World War II, and you know they did the buzz cut on the hair, right? And they did the
Mm,
buzz cut, and they had taken in these Native American men to be scouts for World War II, and so they buzz cut their hair, and they couldn't see or feel anything,
yeah,
nothing. And then when the hair grew
it's wild.
back to neck length, they were able to actually do their work. Isn't that crazy?
It's so wild, and that also relates to, I think, if anyone's familiar with the story of Samson and Delilah in the
Yep,
Bible,
that's right.
Samson's hair was how he was channeling the strength from the heavens, the ethers, our brain, our head being the heaven, our heel being the hell, and so like Achilles was able to traverse through the underworld because his Achilles were protected, which if you think about it, like our heels are connecting to the ground. So I don't really like associate with like the Christian hell, but like you can
Hmm.
see it as like a density that you are traversing on. So
Hmm.
it's like as above, so below, as within, so without, and
Hmm.
our bodies are made up of light, and so when we activate our light body, we'll be able to see where we're channeling more light and where more information is coming through. Like our hands are also
Hmm.
activators, and so like that's why like witches or whatever can just move their hands around, and all of a sudden like trees are moving with like the
Wow.
movement of their hands because it's like all you're tapping into that light grid. That's also how I'm able to do grid work as well, is by utilizing my hands and like whipping my hair around. And it's wild. Like I'll whip my hair around sometimes out here, and there'll be a fish that jumps out of the water or something. It's just
That's
like
so
instant
cool.
confirmation.
Oh,
Yeah, yeah, yeah. It's really cool.
oh, it was very cool. Blessed Bee says, Gaia says of Tantra, lol, I love how we're always on the same wavelength, Tony. So do I. Thank you. Blessed with Melon, that really explains a lot about residual school and cutting off hair in Canada. Yes, it does. It does, because there's a shaming to it. Many of when I do past life, when I download on the Akashic and I'll meditate for a client, and I'll go into the Akashic and they'll download the light codes I need for that particular past life that are important. I can't tell you at least twice I've said on my altar. This is what, because I have an altar with me as a little girl, as a baby, and me with my hair shorn, and I used to have hair down to my hips, okay? And my father decided that it was a good idea to cut it all off in one swoop. And I never understood why I was sobbing, right? But I was devastated. Well, when I say that to clients, they'll say to me, "That's what happened to me." And then when I do a past life, I'll see them as where their hair was cut or shaved off when they were Native Americans, when there were women in Paris cavorting with the Germans, when they were, I get weird downloads on that, and the hair of all things, and the trauma. And there was one particular past life where this girl had to, she I hate to go, it was very violent. Native American soldiers coming in, and she had to watch her beloved be scalped. She couldn't say a word because to say a word would have put everyone in jeopardy behind the bushes. They were trying to be very small in the bushes while this carnage was happening. And again, the scalp, the concept of removing somebody's pride and hanging it around your neck like some kind of banner. So there's something very primal about hair, isn't there, David? That goes back, that's almost barbaric on some aspects, and yet very beautiful. And we, right? I mean, it's weird, the dichotomy of hair, and how it's been used to
Hmm.
shame people, or been used to,
Hmm.
right? Yeah, it's interesting.
Hmm. Yeah, I was also, when you're talking about that too, like my dreads, as they lock up, I often see them as like, so every thought is a wave pattern of light. And
Mhm.
so every thought that I'm having is going into my hair and growing out of my scalp.
Mhm.
So it's almost like
Wow.
it's like as within, so without, and it forms like DNA helixes that
Hmm.
are able to harness information. So that's why I don't like to dye my hair. I don't like to
Yeah.
put product in it. I like to keep it as natural as possible, because then it keeps the neuromelanin that's in it, and helps me be able to, yeah, be confident about the downloads that I'm getting.
Yes, beautiful. And the water aspect is really part of it. Does anybody
Oh,
have any
yes.
question? Yeah, I'm sorry. Go ahead. I'm sorry, David.
Oh, no, 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 you're good. I was just agreeing with you.
Yeah. Oh, darling, please don't call them dreads. That comes from master timelines. Huh.
Oh,
That's
yeah.
a good
And we're,
melody.
we're supposed to call them locks. Yeah, it's all this difference where it's like we're learning how to reword
Yeah.
certain things from colonial times.
Yeah, I get you. Dreads. Yeah, there's the word dread. Yeah, dreading. Yeah, I get that. There's a subtleness
Yeah.
to that.
It's
But
like
oh, go ahead.
It's like the word good morning, like instead of morning, you say, I like to say rising because it's like, what am I mourning? Or, um,
Mm,
yeah, like it's just
yeah,
like little things like that. It
yeah.
helps us be able to, because we're such powerful beings,
Hmm.
and so a lot of times like we are our words we cast spells with what it is that we are emitting. Like our voices, our vocal cord is emitting frequencies and energy, and so when we say like good morning, it's like it's a conundrum. It's like yeah, it's like, what are we? There's nothing to mourn, right? We're rising, the day's
Exactly.
starting, and the sun's coming up.
Exactly. Tara says, rise and shine, I say. Goddess says, never thought of it that respect. Wow, mind blown. Jillian says, yeah, that's what I've had to do with my abundance. Polly says, I agree with that. Yeah, it's all of us are collectively. So one of the things I've been asking, David, to the collective Starseed that are flung all over the world and Twin Flames is asking them to set up meetups where they physically meet in cafes or beach or whatever, where and putting an ad in Meetup or whatever, or in ads, flyers in metaphysical stores, and saying calling all star seeds and twin flames in separation, let's meet, let's support each other, because what's happening with COVID is many of us are doing way too many Zooms. We're not meeting physically, and yet there are people who are feeling lonely all over the world who think that they're the only ones. And there's that need for us to physically meet around a spiritual bonfire. You know what I mean? So if you could consider to put it, calling all hands on deck, calling all starseeds, if you might want to share that with your people, David, because your people don't know,
Yes,
yeah, and that would be important. You know.
yes, you're so right. I'm getting ready to. I've been. That's actually been a huge. That's been really on my heart. Is getting my energy up to a place where I'm able to host, whether it be retreats or just meet up. You know, I'm in the Grand Cayman Islands right now, so
Yeah.
it'll definitely be a select group of people. But when I'm back in the States, I mean, it's definitely going to be the beginning. And I know my twin and I are called to do that. That is our mission work, is to
Mhm.
bring people together and heal through music and
Yeah.
dance and breath and specifically out in places of nature where there's pillows and blankets and we're all like drinking cacao and there's
Right.
fires and we're sharing
Right.
stories, and it's really just a reunion of the galaxies with all of us different star seeds, twin flames, and old souls coming
Right.
together to share our light codes.
Yeah. So Polly said, I've done that, Tony. No one answered my call. No, it's okay. You got to keep going. You don't, you did it once. I remember when I said, Polly, I said, do it for 3 months. Do it through, but also put ads in your local metaphysical store. They usually have cork boards. Usually, a good metaphysical store will have an announcement board, and you go every. Usually, they take down the ask them, because every metaphysical store, some of them will leave everything up on the cork board for a month. Some of them will take it down every week. So ask them, and develop a relationship. But what I'm going to say is that what needs to happen is a lot of you need to like create these wonderful places, because unfortunately, David, and you and I both know that, because I used to have retreats up in Northern California, and not everyone can afford to get on a plane, but you have to like realize that you're being activated to do these mission work where you have retreats, where you create your own retreats. And you know what I mean? Like in the UK, in Ireland, in Australia. And if you trust, it's not so much do you trust yourself. It's you need to stop gaslighting yourself and realize that you're a conduit. Then there's no imposter syndrome going to happen, because you realize it's not you. You're a conduit. You are
Speak
a
to my soul.
vehicle, a vessel. And Paul is located in Australia. To answer your question, Goddess. Thank you, Polly, for Jillian said, I'm not comforting being explicitly out that way. Well, yeah, that's fine. But there are people, Jillian, that are actually committing suicide. I'm just going to straight up. Star seeds that are in the Bible Belt that feel like they're crazy. They're being medicated. I have a client who there's a population of autistic young teenagers who are star seeds. They're nonverbal. Think Little Mermaid. Does that mean that they don't have an IQ? And so we were talking about setting up nonverbal IQs, because some of them are psychic, they're healers. They could actually probably tell us what crypto would go. I'm not being funny, okay? I mean it. I mean, it sounds funny. I mean, we have decided that a population of autistic kids are not valuable enough to invest in them. and to reframe that. You can be nonverbal. We have people who are mute, who are deaf, who are blind. We don't now segregate into something over there in the closet. And yet we're doing that with these brilliant kids, brilliant young people who are part of that. So when you go and create tribes all over the world as a support group, you're going to get different people. Like some of my clients are educators, they're psychologists, they're nurses. And in our conversations on their life path, we're seeing that they need to segue into a special type of healing that is on a higher frequency than was, what is it, allopathic? Does that make sense? What do you think, David?
Mhm. Oh my gosh, you're speaking straight to my soul. This is literally my mission calling. Like I low-key want to cry right now.
Cry. That's good to cry.
It's so
But
good. Yeah.
yeah, yeah, and that's what we need to do. And you're so young, and that's so beautiful because you have years ahead of being a leader and guiding people and teaching them to come into their own light so they can go back home to the respective wherever the hell they live, right? All over the world to actually implement that. I'm really calling for support groups. Like, I don't know, they got what do they have all over the world? They have AA, right? They have alcohol support groups. Why can't we have STARSEEDS and Twin Flame support groups? I don't get
Oh,
it.
you're
I
so
think it's
right.
sad, right?
You're so right. And I think it's good that we're having this conversation, and it's good that you're I respect you so much because you have so much wisdom and so much experience with this journey. And I think a lot of us newly activated twin flames, we
Hmm.
have been going through our dark nights of the soul, and there's
Yeah,
some of us that are, just more, just older souls that are
right.
advanced that are being called to hold the space. And I definitely know that I've been having the dreams, like I've been in a very myopic vision just because I've been so focused on the healing with my twin, and
Sure.
I often can forget that it's all of us. And so that's why I'm so thankful for you guys all and everyone just supporting that, like, and coming out about, like, yeah, I'm a twin flame too, because we're showing that each other that, okay, you're not crazy. Like, this is a spiritual experience that you're having, and it's calling us all back home, not just to our twins but to each other, because we are all tribes. I see you guys all as a part of my tribe, and
Exactly.
we're here to activate each other, because that's also how all the structures fall. We're here as conduits of unconditional love, and when we are in front of each other, we all have eyes that carry, like, legacy and royalty, divine royalty, and
Hmm.
so when we are able to activate that in each other, I was doing that at the beginning of the pandemic, was just activating the royalty codes within
Yeah.
everyone, so
Oh,
we
that's
can be
beautiful.
able to see ourselves as,
Yeah.
like, you are coming from once we transition, this living experience is the dream. Once we transcend
Right.
this and we
Yeah.
die and we go back to, our star systems, there's
Yeah.
legions of angels and people waiting to just greet you and exalt you, and just being like, wow, you did that. Like, you
Yeah.
went to Earth, and you came back, and you did the damn thing, because when we heal, we're healing the timelines of the past, present, and future. It's not just like the future; it's the past, present, and future. That's why it's so important to do. It's epigenetics too, and the autistics carry that as
Right.
well. They can tap into their DNA and just instantly pick up on the psychic abilities. And
Yeah.
I mean, anyone that's considered handicapped or whatever, I see them as angels. I'm like, you decided
Exactly.
to come in and live this experience, and it's up to us to be able to hold space and create the infrastructure for you to be able to share your gifts with us, because it's so needed.
Exactly. And that's what we were talking about. There's a company that's called Heart Math in California, and they're all about training and teaching. This is from my clients and one of my dear friends that is there she so they're teaching heart coherence and now flipping it over to these incredible star seeds that are in these non-verbal situations, and yet they're telepathic. And over the last, well, the explosion of autism began in 1997. I mean, really exploded. And but what we've done as a populace who's afraid of what we don't understand, we've been doing a lot of lobotomizing through pharma. Okay, and so we've actually destroyed star seeds, and then you've got other star seeds that are in the Bible Belt. No respect, no disrespect to anyone who's a Christian on any level, but they think that what we're talking about is the devil's work. Okay, so there's multiple aspects of things that we need to, like, all hands on deck. Let's get moving, and that's why the sooner many of you start your support groups, the sooner you might actually save a life. I'm not kidding. Tara is saying David is actually helping me a lot. I just want to make sure you heard, saw that. 1,000% my vision, new
Thank
paradigm.
you.
Isn't that cool? Yeah, you're loved. You're very much loved. You're very much a light in the twin flame journey on with the creators, because a lot of creators, not I don't know how to say. Look, I'm not exactly the most diplomatic person. Okay, so a lot of
Same.
creators are full of shit. Okay, period. And they don't know what they're talking about. And the reason why David is helping people is because he's speaking his truth, and his truth is hitting your heart chakra, and you're like, oh my God, yes, this is my journey, this is me too. And so you're like that voice, and I think I'm a little rougher around the edges because I have absolutely zero tolerance for bullshit. So I feel like, and I'm not saying you're
I
tolerant, I'm
love it
saying,
so much.
yeah, no, but I mean, it's like we all need different voices for this, the 5D. We're all on the platform. We all got the Willy Wonka chocolate, golden ticket to be here right now. And there's so much to be done, and there's so little time. And because by 2032, I don't know if you know this, David, and please correct, but 2032 is when we're boom in 5D. They're saying it's only right. Have you heard that?
Yeah. There's been a
Hmm.
few different timelines, but yeah, like it continues to speed up, and that's why we're all just getting activated faster and faster. And these eclipse seasons are just pulling up the darkness and pulling out the bullshit and exposing the false
Hmm.
teachers and all that, because
Yeah.
like God's not playing around.
No, he's not. He, she. Doing through,
He's
okay, well, I mean, to me, anyway. So the energy of this process is many of you are going through the dark night. Chick 2020 says, going through a dark night of the soul nearly ended me. Had no idea what was happening. I do now. Thank God you found out what it was. Because I can't tell you, every other time I do a live, I get a twin saying my twin took himself or herself out through what is it? What is it? Come on, doing overdosing by mistake or otherwise or on purpose, right? And don't think that we can't drop our bodies at will. What happens is when you get through a dark night of soul, it's so heavy that you can actually die of a broken heart. That is not a joke. There's a medical doctor recently who's very young, I think he's in his late 20s, who talked about dying of a broken heart is a real thing. Okay? And for many of you who are starseeds who are feeling this angst of feeling homesick, just that alone, forget a separation with your twin. Forget that one. Add this feeling of never feeling right in your skin. It's like a fish out of water. And many of you who are starseeds have not incarnated on planet Earth for a long, long, long time, like 400, 500 years or longer. So this is this is the timeline you chose to be here because of what's happening during the ascension. And so it's very important that you don't give up and that you reach out. And as you guys are talking to each other right now, I would urge you to start following each other. There's about 52 of you. Why don't you start following each other so that you guys can have that support until you have real people. I mean, not that you're not real people, but people you can meet at a cafe. There's nothing like putting elbows to table and having a coffee or taking a hike together as a group and intentionally like meditating together and so forth and doing a book club of some of the books I've put on my list. Okay. And Polly says, this shit is hard here. And he's in Australia. And yet I have clients from Australia. So if you don't mind, I will see who I've got and I will use, Polly, I'm going to do a screenshot of you. And because I've been actually sending these screenshots to certain people I know. And with your permission, Polly, I will send it to, I've got to remember who's on my list that's from Australia. But this person may be open to connecting with you, even if you're just on the same continent. You know what I mean? If not close by. Listen, I was literally giving up because I was sad. I hear you. I'm in Kenya. Wow, Frankie. Kenya, what a beautiful part of the world. Would love a group meditation in Michigan. Yes, I hear you. I understand what was going on quick. The shadow work was quick. Wow. Oh, Tamara, Polly, Tamara is in Australia. Tamara Healing 444. Polly, Tamara, if you go for Polly, can you scroll up, Tamara? It's a lot easier for you to actually connect with him because your name is long, but Polly, it's Paulie. Can you connect with Tamara? Both of you connect. Yes, I definitely was. I went through it beginning of last year and got sober. Good for you. Yeah, being sober will definitely kick you into the dark night of the soul. Sheik says, does the runner, this is for you, David, does the runner always turn to a chaser or can it just go straight to union? What do you think?
Does a runner always turn to a chase, or can it just go straight to union? Okay, well, I can speak from experience because I've been the runner in my twin flame connection, because of the divine feminine. It doesn't. I guess it doesn't really matter if it's divine masculine, divine feminine. Divine masculines can usually they have a running period too. It switches. So at the beginning of my journey, I started to run because of how much energy I was feeling, and because I had a Kundalini awakening back in 2017. So this is when you just awaken to your light body, to your chakras, and you become aware of everything that you have to transmute that you've been storing in your chakras that are not allowing your Kundalini to rise up your spine effortlessly. So when I was awakened by my twin, and all of a sudden my masculine energy really just was activated, and then I shot into my feminine energy, and it was throwing me into a psychosis because I was feeling so much intense feelings and love, and I was also getting psychically activated by past life regressions, and it was just like it was throwing me off my everyday mojo. And so I started to run because I basically was gaslighting myself, and I was having imposter syndrome because as a divine feminine, everything made sense, but then all of a sudden I saw how much work had to be done, how much I was transmuting not just my energy, but now their energy, my family's energy, their family's energy, their partner's energy as well was coming through because they're so close to them. My twin is currently with a third party, so it was just all at once. There was just an immense amount of energy I was transmuting to where I was just waking up heavy. I was waking up dense. I was waking up, and then in LA is just a dense energy in itself. And then, but it's right on top of ancient energy as well. So it was just like I was thrown into a psychosis. And so that's what forced me to embrace the journey, because I had to surrender to God, to Mother, Father, God. I had to connect to the feminine energy of Source to be able to feel nurtured and supported. But then I also had to connect to the masculine Father energy to feel, again, nurtured and supported, but from a whole new level of masculine energy that actually that my twin has been activating. My twin is of like divine being, masculine, just in so many ways, and has been coming into that structure. But I also launched him into his feminine energy as well. So we were both just feminine. Like it was just emotion. It was Christ consciousness. It was psychic. It was telepathic. It was everything all at once. And so our separation has been us like structuring back into our more natural energies. So he's been grounding more into his masculine, but in that he's been making space for his creativity and his feminine energy to rise. And so I have been forced into more my masculine energy because I have been embracing him and who he is and his journey and his family. And like there's a lot of colonizing energy too. Like I am an indigenous soul where he's coming from the Bible Belt. He's coming from like families that are, he would like, just straight Christian Bible also used to colonize in the bloodline. So it's like there is just a lot that is happening that I've had to surrender to, because instead of running, it like it just follows you. And when I try to do cord cuttings, when I try to
Yeah.
even
Yeah.
running here to family, like, it just doesn't, it comes and slaps you in the face and hits you like over the head, and
Mhm.
then sits you back in your place and be like, no, you cannot just run from this. And so I realized I was running from myself, and then also just being in both of us being in masculine bodies. There's a whole integration with that. Like, I've had to surrender the fact that I'm not going to be able to like birth baby in this
Mhm.
lifetime, but like I have children that visit me in my dreams that say like they are from my past life, and like they're here, and we're supposed to find each other. Just very
Right.
psychoactive things that would sound very like, what the fuck are you talking about to
Yeah.
someone else? But to Twin Flames, it's like we are ancient souls that are here to integrate the past, present, and future. And so I've found clarity in why I'm in a male's body, because I've struggled with imposter syndrome. I look at myself in the mirror and I'm like, that's not what I'm supposed to look like. But
Hmm.
it's what I'm embracing, because God literally made it, forced me to be like, you can't get off mission, because in past lives I've gotten off mission by having a baby and getting caught up in
Yeah.
cycles of that I'm healing through now. So even me running in this lifetime was me running like in past lifetimes, like on like the underground railroad, from like, or like my twin being like a captain of a ship, and I was like showing him, telepathically different places where he could find goods and treasures and stuff like that. And then him and his squad of colonized energy went and and stole it. And so then
Hmm.
I felt guilt and shame from that, because I was like,
Yeah.
you abused our love. And so
Mhm.
we are healing through these timelines and whatnot in
Beautiful.
this lifetime that is coming up like every day. It's just like this pain and this yearning of like through the heart that I'm just learning to surrender and be like, this is the lifetime that we're free. This is the lifetime that we have the power to be able to be in union. This is a lifetime that we are able to integrate but we have to face like if we wanted it to be in union, we could just call each other up and be like, okay, let's meet up, boom, and then
Right.
we'd be in union. But like, it's not that simple, because
Yeah.
we know what it's going to take for us to be able to show up collectively, and it's us facing ourselves, and embracing all of us, the good, the good, the bad, the ugly, like all of it. So I found that I was running from so much with
Mhm.
because it felt heavy. But now that I'm embracing the journey, I'm like, I'm not chasing them, because I complete, like, because I saw I was on the twin flame journey right away. I was like, I'm not going to chase you, but I am going to speak my truth.
Mhm.
And so that's why I'm on TikTok speaking my truth, because I'm basically sharing the things that I need to get out to transmute the energy that I know is going to help other souls transmute their energy,
Yes.
as well as my twin and I transmuting our own energy that we're healing from. So that's why when people say the twin flame journey is not karmic, or like it's just pure love, and like, I'm
Yeah.
just like, dude, what the fuck are you talking
Thank you.
about?
And that was it. And there's a lot of shaming to that. And the banner of twin flames is thrown around like, everyone has twin flame or that. There's a great question that came through. Can twins ever end up together in union, or is it always this third party? It is not. It is not always this third party. And the third party doesn't have to be a lover. By the way, the third party could be a child, a job, a continent. It could be a dying parent, and you can't be with them because you're taking care of business. It could be your own self-loathing. That could be a third party. It can be your own addiction of theirs. That's a third party. There's a lot of levels to third party energy. But no, twins do end up together. They do end up being beloveds, and they do walk together. And then when the frequency is not a match, when one twin or both twins are out of alignment to some level, to some serious level, a degree, okay, then at that point it collapses and you're separated by 100 miles, 7,000 miles. And And that is because now you're being called to do your inner work. And some of us, like for me, my twin was supposed to be with me last week, and I had him turn around, and I said, no, I don't see, we really, because of our age, we're much older than all of you, and I said to him, this is our last attempt. And if we fail, we're fucked. So, I have to make sure that our environment is going to be a winning proposition for us to successfully come into our final union in this incarnation, so that we can move on. And when I took ayahuasca last time, I could hear Mother Ayahuasca, the great mother, talking to me, and my twin talked to me, his higher self, if you will, or our higher self, if you will. But it was his voice, no doubt. And one of the things that I was told, and that's been my message for many of you, and a lot of people think it's a t-shirt, ayahuasca said, and I've said this before in other lives, but I'll say it here. She said, you can go to Shambhala. And I said, Shambhala, how? What about the karma? You can stop incarnating. I said, how? In 3D meaning. And I said, how? How? She said, self-love. Self-love is the key that unlocks the gates to Shambhala. And when you have Shambhala, you can now stop incarnating in 3D. And I said, well, what about good karma? All karma will dissolve with self-love. All of it. All of the timelines of abuses, of shame, all of it. And then you will walk through Shambhala. And I don't know, that's the term she used. And I said, well, when can I see you again? And she said, where you go, I don't grow. I'll never forget that line. And I was like, what did I do wrong? Did I do something? She goes, no, where you're going, I don't grow. It's like, you don't need me. You're going somewhere else. Which, right, we're starseeds. And we've been here, we've been there. And the planet is about to go through a split. And I know you've all seen it, of 3D into 5D. And there is a bridge, and we're crossing that bridge. And one of the things that is really something that's coming up in my readings and also my lives, David, is that there are a lot of people that are afraid of leaving their twin and other beloveds behind during the ascension, because they're not awakened or to that level. And what I say to them, okay, and I think I need to share it again, is first self-love, then cross the bridge, climb the mountain. Now then you can turn around and throw ladders and ropes to your beloveds and to your twin. You can't do anything in the mud with them. And you cannot regress, because there's, David, I'm going to have to send you this link on, I want you all to look for this, okay? I want you guys all to watch it. It's a 57-minute video that is going to be taken down. I actually had my son download it for me. It's called this. You're going to look it up like this. Dr. Joe Dispenza working with giants, Lilou, Lilou, Ma, M-A. And you're going to see him, and it's some really cool looking blonde chick interviewing him about the giants, the light beings that come into his room. Into, you know when he has these retreats, right? Now, apparently there's a room where they allow certain people who have physical ailments to go into that room. But there's a line that he said that blew me away, because that's what the grandfather told me when I was in journey, in a sacred medicine journey. And here's the line. The giants came to him, telepathically, obviously, and said, is there any way you can raise the vibration of the room? Because we love ourselves. Did you get this? We love ourselves too much. Because if we lower our vibration any more, we will lose our consciousness. If you stay behind because you're afraid of your twin not crossing over, you will lose your consciousness. You'll go back into amnesia. Mark my word. Does that make sense? Does that resonate?
Wow. That is spot on. And I think that's why it usually comes to divine feminine first, that they have to walk away. And while we were talking about that, I was having a vision of us climbing up a mountain. And when you're climbing up a mountain, you have to be keen and aware and sharp of where you're looking. It's almost like this background here with the stars. It's like dark. And so you're going by moonlight. And so as you're grabbing the vines to climb up this mountain, you're creating a net. And so once you get to a certain level, like a certain playing field, and you get to a checkpoint where there is water and there's a township and there's some shamans and healers to help aid you and guide you to keep on continuing the mountain, you can cast that net that you created with the vines behind you. But the only way you're able to create that net is by going up the mountain. And as long as if you keep on looking back behind you, you're going to lose, because we're all going up together. So it's like it's like once you have the awareness and you can cast your net, then you'll be able to help those that are behind you have an easier transition up the mountain. So it's like you activate that inner warrior, ninja. I like to see it as like my dark feminine energy, where it's like I can coast through the night and I'm not gonna be skeeved because I don't have that fear. I'm like, I know what I'm supposed to do here.
Exactly. And so I remember when I did San Pedro, and I had a mold. I talk about that. I had, when I decided to do 3 sacred medicines in 9 days, I had a moldavite and a kunzite in my bra. Anyway, when I
Wow.
did the San Pedro, I was with my little shaman sister, and San Pedro is activated by looking at the sun. Actually, it activates you. So we're not supposed to talk. We're not allowed. We're looking at the sun. I'm going to tell you 2 stories on that very day that are really interesting. So we're looking at the sun, and I went, "Oh shit, do you see this?" She goes, "Yeah. It's purple." Yes, I know. It's like flowers. It's like petals. It's like the fucking lotus flower. Just we were both seeing the exact same thing. We were seeing the sun as it was really the sun, not the sun the way you see it, like white, whatever. The sun
Mhm.
looked like it was these petals of lotus flowers evolving and ever blooming, and it was gold, it was green, it was violet, it was deep purple. We were seeing the exact same thing. And at that point I realized we really don't see shit, do we, from this 3D eyes? I mean, really, really, we really don't see anything. We're blind. And then the next
Right.
thing, and then the next
So
thing,
you have to
see,
trust the light.
you have to try. And there's a really great documentary. I haven't seen it actually. I saw a couple snippets, but it's called Eating the Sun. Anyway, you might want to look it up, Eating the Sun. But anyway, the next thing is St. Pedro came to me, the grandfather, at night. We just done cacao. The St. Pedro was still through me. And the first thing he said to me was, we we really love coming to help you, but you guys need to ascend, because whenever we come down, remember what I said about Dr. Joseph Spencer working the giants? I saw that video 2 years after St. Pedro. And he said, we love coming to help you. The problem is you guys are so dense in this 3D. It's like going through boulders of rock and stone and cement, and it continues. And we're afraid of losing our consciousness. So we're
Wow.
really eager for you guys to ascend. We can't wait till you ascend so we don't have to make this journey. And then
Wow.
2 years later, when the COVID hit, I saw that video ducked, and I went, "Holy shit! They really do communicate like that. Like it was like an affirmation." You know what I mean? So
Mm.
it's real, guys. It's all real, and you're not crazy. That's been the message, that we're not crazy. Jillian said my ears just started ringing like crazy when you said that. Oh shit! Yes, makes sense. Rachel says mine got heavy, full of water. Wow. Yes, it is normal to get visions or images and you and your twin in union. It is very normal to get images of you and your twin in union. Yes, it is. You're also tapping into different timelines, because so here's the deal that's in free will, right? And you've got multiple portals you can walk through all the time. So in one particular timeline of you now as Jillian or Muhammad or Sheik or David or who, right? Or Margaret or Rachel, what happens is you actually have a decision, and your decision is, I want to live in the Bahamas, or I'm scared of moving to Portugal because I don't know Portuguese. And so one part of you could stay right here in LA or whatever and continue this timeline. And another part of you could say, you know what? I don't give a shit. I'm going to learn Portuguese. A lot of people speak English. I'm moving. And you go. And suddenly the timeline changes. Do you understand? So this is why you can manifest what you want. There's certain things that are set in stone. Certain things. Death ultimately is set in stone. However, there are times where some of us have three levels, or three timelines where death appears, and some of us has multiple places where we could die. And some of us, so I don't know if you've heard of that, but some of us can actually die at 60, at 69, or 84, for example, to give you an example, okay? My son had a near-death experience, and he was told that, he kind of had a choice. He could have died at 17, but he came back. Does that make sense? So you guys can manifest whatever the hell you want. It's a holographic universe.
And we're supposed to utilize our consciousness to direct. It's like we're ground crew. So as we make decisions and we cleanse our mind, body, and soul to be able to bring in those clear light codes, then we're directing the cosmos and our guardians on where to help us. And so it's important, it's imperative that we make that connection. That's why cleansing your diet and working with the elements is the way to break out of the systematic matrix, like these screens and everything. Like we have to balance it out, because the trees and nature is divine technology. We are divine technology. And so our intention is everything. Our intention is direction. And when you get the visions, and when you see the visions of you and your twin, you are tapping in to the different timelines that you have lived in, or past, present, and future, because we are the ones guiding ourselves home. So I've been tapping into a lot more. I've been trying to stay grounded, because I can get so starseedy really quick. But when I get starseedy, I can feel a version of myself like right in a heaven, like hemisphere right above me, like in a ship, where it's like I'll be like at the ocean, and I'll just be like, you guys are right above me, aren't you? And there'll just be like one single giant cloud, like the sky will be all blue, and there'll just be one single giant cloud right over me,
Wow.
like going miles out front and back. And I'm like, that is a cloaked ship. I can feel it. I can see the pixels. I can feel it with my mind's eye, and then I can feel myself communicating with myself, and like myself in a higher version in an Andromedan ship is telling me, is like saying, like, stay right here, move your foot, like allow your hands to flow like this. And then I start channeling this energy, and instantly I get confirmation with nature, like animals, a bird, a fish, a crab, like coming up to me and then moving away. I saw a shark in the ocean the other day that was just completely like, whoa, like it was like a transmutation of my deepest fears. And so when you tap into the fields of nature, like nature will speak back to you and give you the information that you need. So like when a spider crosses your path, like are you afraid of the spider, or are you looking at the spider of like, that's a being with a ton of eyes that are looking to a ton of different dimensions and is able to quantumly make a quantum web. And so that's a reflection of you. Like nature's being like, you're able to create quantum webs with your consciousness by connecting all the different dots. So if you're spending time on the screens and on TikTok and stuff like that, like how are you connecting the dots, and are you sharing it? Are you writing it down? Are you implementing it? Are you integrating your higher consciousness into this physical vessel? Because then this is how our higher consciousness, our guides, our angels, our teams, our starseed origins are going to be able to land and ground here. But we have to make the effort. We can't just continue to keep on densifying ourselves. And then also, just because of how the matrix has been set up, there's so many strong souls that are polarizing the connection and focusing on the wrong things, because and pulling us down unconsciously. So that's why the twin flames are waking up to be like, you guys, we have to get this together.
Yes.
Like it's go time now.
Exactly. It is go time. And that's why it's important that you don't feel like you're alone. And the more you meditate, the more you work on your chakras, which are, like I said, the light bulbs. You've got 9 light bulbs. You've got 9 chakras. Okay. When Atlantis fell, we lost 9 and we went to 7. And I don't know if you guys follow Tim Weil, but he talks about that. He's got amazing energy, and he's very connected to Atlantis and to some of the star beings and star seeds. Also, the thing is, you might actually don't get caught up. I was talking to somebody about this, about how some of the starseed origins, they're only showing like, I don't know, I'm making it up. Okay, I don't remember. 15 different type of species, right? Well, guess what? The 3 starseeds I saw weren't in any of the books. There's none of them look like that. Okay. And so, like, I'll give you an example. One of the star seeds, and it's important because what David is saying is incredible. And for many of you, you might actually have that experience and gaslight yourself. So the other thing you might get, you might not believe you're a star seed because you might see a past life reincarnation as a star seed and say, no, that can't be it. I'm making it up. And here's why. So let me tell you what it looks like. One star seed tribe that you might recognize, and I'm doing this in hypnotherapy as well with a client. I'm going to share that in a minute. Is blood red, like lipstick red. And the men have these golden hairs on their backs and their arms, and so gold. And we all have black hair. And it was like a more of a polyamorous type of society. You had your main squeeze, your main person. But you were kind of okay with whatever, right? But you had your main person. One of my clients, he's going from she, okay, male going through transgender. She went into a past life and she saw herself as on a blue planet with salamander like beings, like humanoids, where we could change sex at will. If there was an imbalance of too many males or too many females, they could change sex, okay? For example, and it was very detailed and there was no bullshit to it. But so whatever comes to you, because we don't have just 15 species of starseeds, okay? That's just the surface. You may actually have a past life that comes through and you're like, and you might gaslight, go, no, it doesn't look like Andromedans, it doesn't look like Arcturians, it doesn't look like Pleiadians or whatever. And let me tell you straight up, and I've had more, they don't look like that. They're humanoids, but they don't look like that. My guide looks like a Pleiadian, my guide. But so what? My past lives, they don't look like that. Let me see real quick. Rachel says, my guides didn't look like any of the beings I've seen either, but there's so many on the graph I saw. Good. Christopher said, I have a dream I was in a UFO this morning. I had 3 scratches. What does that mean? That you probably weren't dreaming. What do you think, David? I'm not being funny, Christopher,
Yeah.
but that's great. 3 scratches. I would not ignore that. What do you think, David?
Exactly. And actually, I can just give confirmation when that happens to me. It's because I asked for confirmation because when you you're about to wake up and you shoot into your body and then you forget everything.
Yeah.
I will ask for specific signs like in the physical to help me activate a memory that I can dream journal and write it down. So when you see when those things happen to you, it's like it's the other side working with you, like you set this up, it's like, and also I just want to with the salamander, or with the animals here, Garden of Eden, we are on Earth. It's a very there's also inner Earth. So there's beings that are working in the inner Earth that are trying to help us wake up. There's beings above us that are working, and there's beings in the water. Like, it's all around the trees. It's all technology. It's all pixelized energy patterns that are crystallizing into a physical form and like we were talking about earlier, when you ingest the plant, you're able to see past the veil and see the pixelized structures of how things work in different dimensional realms. And so then we're supposed to integrate that. The animals are direct manifestations of us remembering our starseed origins. So when cats are coming up to you, that's your Lyran energy tapping in and being like, yo, I'm here, literally on ground right here. Like the familiars, anyone that has cats, that's your Lyran energy just communicating you like that. But we are so programmed to not look at that that we have a hard time connecting with that starseed aspect of us. / also whatever you were attracted to as a child, look at that, and that can activate aspects in you, because they have to tell us who we are. They have to put it in our media, in our movies, and all of that. And so there's like Star Trek, they're telling us what's going on, but because we've been so programmed to not believe it as real, we believe it as fiction. And so then that's how they keep us in the reincarnation cycle and forgetting who we really are.
Yeah. It's beautiful. It's beautifully said. I think that one of the things that many of us are also dealing with is the shame and what happened in Atlantis, and how I did a past life thing with a client, and she turned out to be one of 108,000 original founders of Atlantis. which, and I kept saying, I was like, I was blown away, and she was blown away, but not really, because she said, yeah, I've had dreams. You know what I mean? So it's
Hmm.
interesting. So, so she was an originator, but a lot of us were born during the Atlantean and Lemurian times. And I remember, I don't know if you guys have ever heard of Ruth Montgomery, but she was a channeler. She was a psychic, and a lot of her books were published in the 60s and 70s. And she talks about how, and I remember reading those books when I was like a teenager, okay? And she talks about how what was going on with the Atlanteans was that they were doing a lot of genetic manipulation. Sound familiar? They were actually creating animals and interbreeding, hence centaurs, right? You know, right? Half man, half horse. Lions, griffins, sphinx. Sound familiar? And they were doing that, and it was against the law of nature, the universal law. And so there was a rebellion. There was a civil war, and the frequency fell. They were, as you probably have heard, they were using a lot of crystals, right? Quartz crystals for many things. Another thing that has gone under the blankets of our time in this particular, and I don't know why, but there was a skull. You may have heard of the crystal skull called the Mitchell-Hedges skull, which was found in Honduras in the 1910s, right? And they found the mandible, the lower jaw, and the upper jaw. They had psychics in the 70s working, 70s, 60s, 50s, whatever. And none of the psychics were told anything. And so they would work with this crystal, like a holographic, think of it as a microchip, and it had contained all of the memories of Atlantis. And as these psychics were writing down their reports of what they had seen working with this, all of them were saying similar stories. Now there's this agenda, since Mitchell has, since the woman who kept it, she died and it was taken over by a gentleman, and no one talks about the skull anymore. It's like forgotten time. And yet it is an activator. It has remembered everything that happened in Atlantis, and there's information there, and no one's working with it, and no one's been allowed, really. It's used almost like a circus act. I don't know if you've heard of it, but definitely look up Mitchell Hedges skull. A lot of people are saying it's fake now, and there's no way it was fake. They say it was a high priestess, Atlantean high priestess, that was murdered, and that they activated her skull. I'm not kidding. And if you look at how the skull is made, there's no way. There's no way. It looks. We don't even have machines to. Well, we might have machines today that could do it. I don't know, but it's quartz crystal. It's clear, and the lower jaw separates from the upper top. Have you guys ever seen that, David? Have you seen that?
Yeah, heard it, like a few different stories about the crystal skull. I mean they give us hints about it in the Indiana Jones series.
Right.
And like they're always hinting at these things. I'm getting downloads as we're talking about this. Like
Right.
there's one in the Bermuda Triangle that goes off, and so the more, again, when you raise your vibration, you're able to connect to the crystalline grid of the earth, and so we're all harnessing as crystals, because the most powerful crystals we have, y'all, the most powerful crystal you have is right between your eyes. When you learn
Yes.
how to activate that, you're gonna activate all those timelines that then help us activate the skull. So so with my twin flame journey, there was it's so starseedy, but like I have this energy of like a siren, and this sonar, and like working with the dolphins, and like working with the whales, and like working with the underwater beings, and
Wow.
then like Little Mermaid being like a story about how at one point, before we had all the technology and all the grid and all the matrix and all the surveillance, there was the crossing of worlds, the crossing of dimensions, and the humans that were discovering the waters were interacting with these underwater inner world beings, and these inner world beings were activating them and helping them tap into higher spaces of consciousness. That's why the sirens are seen as like demons in like the colonizer's perspective, because of how powerful they were and how they just easily like would just control the minds of the sailors. But the sailors, because they were in such a denser reality, that they were getting activated by these beings and like falling in love and all that. So they're telling us all these things, and then so once they would get activated, then they'd be like, oh, we can use these beings to find the treasures, the hidden treasures, because they heard of the stories of El Dorado and all of that. It's different consciousness forms commingling, crisscrossing. And so a lot of us are here in America, all over the world, but America has a litter of star seeds from Atlantis and from Lemuria, and so that's why there's like all these race wars and stuff like that, because we are healing the timelines of this crossbreeding also with like the Anunnaki. And I don't like to get too much into it, because we are here at the Great Collapse. We're at unconditional love. Again, why the twin flames are awakening, are here to collapse all of that and bring us in, and crossing the rainbow bridge to bring us into union. But there was a fall of like when the giants, those were the Nephilim, that were the mingling of like higher dimensional beings having sex with the humans, and then creating these giant beings that were bringing in this destructive energy.
Yes.
Now it's like,
But you think that's true? Because do you think that's true? Because I had a download on that, on that I'll share if you want. But do you honestly think? Because a lot of some of these the Old Testament, that right? I get this in the Old Testament that speaks of that, and the book of Enoch or whatever. Is it really true, or is it more bullshit written to make us afraid?
I think so. There's the fear programming. So I brought up the more universal understanding of them, but then I think of like the druids, like the tree beings. Like there's giants in every single form of consciousness. So like just like how there's dark Anunnaki, there's also light Anunnaki. There's dark reptilians, there's also light reptilians. And so we are told of the fear of the dreadful stories of these beings. But that's why it's so important that we tap into our source consciousness, our light codes, and we bring in and we share our downloads, because then we can bring in these timelines that are able to integrate and balance out all of that fear mongering. Because then people are so afraid to tap into that stuff, because they're like, oh, like it's just like demonic and dark, and it's like there's just that filtered version of it that we've been told. So but we are all here, I can see how it all intertwines. It's not good or bad. It's just consciousness in different forms. And because we are here in such a density, we are told of the dense stories. But the more we rise in consciousness, we'll see that like, oh, like they were all working together. Like to me, demons are just like, they're just like annoying. Like they're just like kind of just like they just pester you to like help you remember that you are like such a magnificent, beautiful, divine soul. And so it's like they have to fester you to guide you to the light, to guide you to your destiny, to guide you to your calling. You have to go through the darkness to find the light. You have to go through the integration of your shadow to find the light. And when you do that, you bring up all of your timelines, past, present, and future, cleanse your bloodline, because you're crystallizing your aura to be able to tap into your own source consciousness that is the source of all of it. Like planet Earth is basically just a library full of information. It's a petri dish, a cosmic petri dish, a cosmic pearl that is harnessing and that is designed to be a Garden of Eden. Earth was created for the gods, for us to be able to come here and be able to have a physical experience, to be able to eat food, have sex, like have families, like be able to co-create, bring these dynasties of cities with technology. Like it's supposed to be a paradise, a Havana, like a Shangri-La, but the darker forces have distorted and went into the past, into the timelines, distorted it, and so here we are unraveling it. So every day you wake up and you choose love, you're unraveling and you're activating your divine DNA. Every day you're choosing to wake up and choose healing, you're activating your divine DNA. So it's like, that's why we are all out here just preaching self-love, self-love, self-love,
Yeah.
self-love.
And
And
people have
you'll
a hard time dealing with that. They have a hard time dealing with that. And that's why you have to try to surround yourself with high frequency music. You have to open your throat chakra. You might want to, one of the things that the activation that you need to do on your own, for example, there's an amazing teacher of primal singing, and her name is Nessie Gomez. You may want to look her up on YouTube, and you may want to look up, check it out, David. You should check it out as well. It's Nessie Gomez, Nessi Gomez, Gomes, and anyone can sing. Look it up on YouTube. There's no way you won't cry. And I took her class. And so even throat chakra, because many of you are blocked in the throat chakra, because in other past lives, it was not safe to speak your truth, because when you spoke your truth, I had a download with a client. I had a past life download for this client. And I said, oh my God, you were a Huguenot. You were trying to fight for, you were fighting for, the Bible to be spoken, to be written in the common man's language, which would have been German, French, you know what I'm saying. And guess what happened? They were hunted down like dogs and burned and tortured, violently tortured and burned at the stakes or whatever, right? And so what would happen to the body with that kind of trauma? It would be an echoing from these past lives of speaking your truth, and that it was dangerous, that it was scary, right? You would freak the fuck out. You'd be like, I'm not doing that again. Look at what happened to me last time, or a few last times, like being a druid and being hunted down when the Christians came. Again, I'm not disrespecting Christians. I'm just saying this is our history, let's be honest. And they were hunting them down like dogs. We have a history of that. And so they were attacked. So what I'm saying to you, many of you starseeds are dealing with a fear of getting on the world stage through TikTok, through YouTube, through speaking your truth, because in the past it was unsafe. So what David is talking about, self-love, self-activation, understanding the components of that, and it is a somatic component. Okay, so what I'm going to say to you is that I invite you to do all kinds of different exercises that are going to be somatic, that are going to help you purge and clear. I teach women to do what I call spiritual douching, okay? To release a lot of things. And remember, we've been men, we've been women. We've done some awful shit as men, we've done some awful shit as women, okay? And so we need to also forgive ourselves. So many of you may have used your throat chakra to do some pretty horrible things. Let's be real, okay? And so you need to activate your throat chakra, okay? You need to, all of these chakras, and you don't just do one, okay? And that's it, that's all you do today. You're going to do all of them, but you might spend more time on your solar plexus, more time on your root, more time on your sexuality. I'm not saying that it's a bad thing to be celibate. Sometimes it's important to be celibate, but definitely use sex magic to unlock any blocks. All of these aspects are to activate everything, releasing and purging everything, so you can then say, you know what, I'm ready. There is no imposter syndrome. And the way you get over the imposter syndrome it's a little secret I came up with. Well, it wasn't something I came up with, because you say, I'm a conduit. So guess what? You're not as responsible when you're a conduit, because you're not the one. So half the things that we're going to be saying, especially when you say, my body is your vehicle, Angel Michael, Angel whatever, or the light beings and star beings. I am your vehicle, and I'm releasing my throat chakra to you. So one of the things I say, and you may want to do this every morning, is saying, angels, guides, allies, I give you permission to guide me in word and action. Okay, and what that means is now they're able to guide you, to escort you, and also you can say, please download new light codes. I do this every day. I ask for new light codes to be downloaded for upgrades. Your iPhone's getting upgraded. Your Androids are getting upgraded while you're sleeping. Why can't you? And so all of that is important, but you're not going to be able to really manifest true power until your ego, your monkey mind, is trained through chanting, Sanskrit so that you can rewire your brain through meditation, and also do things like singing. I kid you not, primal singing, opening your throat, yelling, and primal, and taking a shaman drum and beating the shit out of it, and basically wailing the song of your heart from many incarnations where you were muzzled like a dog, hunted down like a dog, abused, and also sadly when we took our power and used it wrongly. Does that make sense?
Yes. So real. It's so
Yeah.
real. And like something I did in LA was it was like a all in one was rollerblading. I would purposely wear like a super like short crop top and like some short shorts, and I would go up and down the boardwalk, and this is more of like for like shamanistic stuff, but I would absorb all of the energies of everything, everyone around me, and I would just allow, because I was going at such a fast pace and the ocean was right beside me and all the elements, the sun, the wind, I started to work with the elements. I started to really feel myself integrate with the ethers, with the frequencies around me, and it felt like my chakras were just getting cleared. So there would be, everyone's on vacation in LA. They're all, everyone's staring. I'm experiencing actually very strongly here in the Caribbean because it's a lot more conservative, where I don't have to do any of that. All I have to do is walk around. I'm called a witch. I'm called a dragon, a snake,
Wow.
bocce boy, faggot, like everything. I just pull projections out of people effortlessly, and it's just them not being able to conceptualize like what they're feeling and what they're experiencing. And so instead of absorbing that, because as a child I would experience this on a lot more minute level, and I would absorb the shame and guilt, and also just being on the queer journey, absorbing the shame and guilt, and I would carry that with me, and that is the heaviest vibration. And so I would just feel heavy. I'd feel dense. I'd feel inflamed. And so my guidance guided me to rollerblade, to be active, to constantly just be moving my body, because as an instrument I'm basically like transmuting the energies past, present, and future through my body as a conduit. And so when I would feel like dense projections, I would call an Archangel Michael the protector, and immediately it would be like I could see a physical representation of someone like look away, or like people would literally like fall off their bike or something like that,
Yeah.
because like they were sending such dense energy, and I was just like, no, mirror, boom. And the more you set that intention, and the more you work with your mind and your energy and your frequencies, is like specifically divine feminines absorb so much shame and guilt. And so it holds us back from being able to speak our truth, walk in our alignment, walk in our divinity, because we're constantly catering to the male gaze, to the patriarchal rules. But when you walk in your fire, when you walk in your truth, when you walk in your light, any projection that's sent to you is instantly burned up. And the angels love it. That's what they're here for. They're like, we're the divine disruptors,
Yeah, beautiful. That's exactly it. And I think all of us in our own ways have been kicking doors down in that way. Some softer than others, some literally. Somebody just asked me to repeat activating the voice. So you ask your angels, you can scroll up, I answered to user 35. You give your angels, guides, and allies permission to guide you in word and action. In terms of the throat chakra, you would actually get yourself grounded, right? On Earth, on Mother Earth, on Pachamama, right? I prefer barefoot, if you can, or visualize that visualize your toes gripping Mother Earth, right? And then at that point, you would say something like, I want to upgrade my throat chakra. I'm releasing any blockages in my throat chakra. I call on, and you can call on anything that resonates with you. Okay, I'm not going to tell you what to do on that level. And then you ask for the upgrades. But when I do my asking the activation of my my upgrades on light codes, what I say, because I usually do the four corners above and below, which is what they do when you do sacred medicine, plant medicine. They sage everyone, they do that, and I do it my own way. But I'll be facing the west, right? and I'll say, please download new light codes from the 5th, 6th, 7th, 8th, 9th, 10th, 11th, 12th dimensional realms and beyond, so I may understand, so I may help those that need to understanding, so I may be awakened even further and further, and opening me up and upgrading me in such a way that I can be your vehicle, so that I can do this journey, so that I can be of service. So that's something that you may want to do. And or you don't have to do all of what I said. If you know, just go ahead and just say, I'm giving you permission, please upgrade me. And that's going to be important for you, because the faster you get upgraded, you're going to, like I said, you're going to start waking up at 2-3 o'clock in the morning, and you're going to see either lights or geometric patterns. And when you do, don't freak out. Thank them. Just say, thank you. I know you guys are upgrading me. I know you guys are working on me. Awesome. I'm so happy. And they are, you know. Yeah.
3 o'clock in the morning, such a powerful time.
Isn't
Such a
it?
power,
Isn't it?
yes.
It is. And you're lucky because you can go by the, you know, you can hear the ocean, I hope, and you can at least walk there. And I think that also, if you're in different environments, if you get up at 3-4 o'clock in the morning, don't watch TV. Please don't TikTok. Okay. Go and sit in a meditation. Okay, go ahead and put it on 9 minutes. If your body is jittery, just rock back and forth like you're rocking, and or put your hands above your head, but close your eyes. Put it on the clock. 9 minutes. Okay, I'm doing this, and then see, because they're not waking up for the hell of it. Okay, so put your hands in a particular mudra. Learn some mudras. I put a lot of mudras on my area, right, and on my page, and choose a mudra that resonates. Okay. And then go in and ask, why did you wake me up? What you want to tell me? Okay. They're not just waking you up because, you know, don't get caught in the menopausal, this, that, hormonal, I'm stressed out, I'm working too much bullshit. They're waking you up for a reason. Okay. Your body sometimes has more wisdom than your mind can contain. And sometimes your body doesn't. Your body just is a slave to whatever desires. So I hope that helps, because definitely it is a magical time. David, anything else? This has been amazing. Well, I think we've been on this for 2 hours, David.
I'm so glad I came on. Thank you for having me.
I hope you do it again. I hope you join us again, because I think
Yes.
it's just fantastic. I left you my number. I don't know if you know, but if you have WhatsApp, give me a call. I'd love to talk to you. You
Okay,
know,
yeah, I definitely will. Yeah, I'm also, I just want to say I'm so grateful for you and your page and how you came up on my timeline, and now
me
we're just
too.
here. Like it's just it's so effortless when you surrender to the journey, and then Source will connect you with who you need to be connected with to be able to help each other remember and integrate. And so, like, everything that we've talked about tonight, you guys, it's so beautiful to, like, this is what happens when you speak your truth and you allow yourself to surrender to the journey and the calling, and we can each just compare notes, and this is what it's about, and we're just beginning.
Yeah.
It's the more we are able to surrender, allow, let go, the more you realize, like, you're not on this journey alone. Right now it feels like you may be alone because we're supposed to remember and wake up in our own pods, but then once you break out of that, it's the world becomes so much bigger, so much brighter, and we, a lot of what we've talked about is us remembering that we're the key, we're the answer, we're the key holders. We're the ground crew, and our angels, our guides, our ancestors are all working together. I mean, everything right now in this now moment, just think about everything that has had to align, past, present, and future, what your grandparents had to go through, everything that they had to do to meet that fine time. Like, nothing is random. Everything is so beautifully, intricately designed for us to be able to remember who we are. So we have to do our part in the journey of waking up and remembering and sharing our truths. And so I mean, I can feel the energy in this live. It has been so immaculate, so bright, so beautiful. And so many of you guys are on the brink of wanting to share your truth and spread your light,
Yes.
but you're just you're just you're stuck in that imposter syndrome. You're stuck in that illusion. You're stuck in the ego, and it's just allowed this night to be a checkpoint that you say, I surrender. I surrender this journey. I surrender the calling. I'm ready to wake up to who I am. I'm ready to wake up at three o'clock tonight. And angels, I'm ready to listen. I'm ready to see what it is, because in another form, you are that angel. You're communicating with yourself from the other side. It's like that movie, what's his name? Matthew McConaughey. It's Interstellar.
Mm-hmm.
It's like, I don't know if you guys have seen that, but it's like you are communicating with yourself on the other side. So I just want to thank everyone for being on this live. Thank you for having me. And yeah, this is beautiful.
I
This
hope
is
we
just
can do
amazing.
this again. I really want to do this
We
again with
definitely
you because there's a lot more to talk
have,
about, isn't there?
there is, there's so much more.
I know, exactly. Anyway, I'm so honored. You move me, you move my heart. All of you are so beautiful. And okay, so I just posted, if you guys scroll up, I just posted, Anyone Can Sing, Nessie Gomez on YouTube. I just posted that. So scroll up until you see it. Go ahead and do a screenshot. And thank you for the roses. Yes, when he talks to his on the other side as a child. Yes. What's interesting also, I just want to leave it with that, if you don't mind, is what's interesting about what you said about your children that are coming to you in your dreams, David, and what I found in readings with other people who are you'll have a woman who's a twin flame in a twin flame journey, and she's had children with another man, right? And the twin flame, one of the third party energies would be these children, right? And then I'll do a reading. I'll go, oh, guess what? She'll say, what? I go, those children are his children from a past life. They're his kids. And he's rejecting his own, they're not flesh and blood, but they're his kids.
That just gave me
So,
so much clarity. Oh my
yeah,
gosh.
yeah.
Whoa.
So they're lost. And so he's been given the
Oh,
opportunity to do this again. And one of the past lives I got, I kid you not, it's really weird. It was a Titanic, and the children died. And they were being brought back to him, not under his DNA in this incarnation, but as souls back from a loss, being lost. You know what I mean? He couldn't protect them, and he, in his own mind, had failed them. Right? Well, he was failing them again by not loving her and loving those kids like they were his own, because in retrospect, they were his own. Can you imagine?
oh my
So, yeah,
gosh, that
yeah,
is so twin flamey.
yes, isn't it?
Oh,
That,
it's so twin flamey.
right?
Yes, I
Yeah.
that just resonates. Like it's like the whole kid thing has been a whole thing for me, and just hearing that, it's like, yeah, that
Mhm.
resonates. Because a lot of twins will be called to like adopt or make, because of that whole soul recognition
Yeah.
of like, and like have their own. But I mean, it's you everything once you're activating the twin flame journey, everything becomes intuition. Like you'll just feel it in your gut if something's not aligned. It's just like
Right.
it's like, no, I can't do that. I have to make way, I have to make room if that is in the cards. And if it's not, then like you can just so effortlessly create more karma. And it's just like, you kids, no.
Exactly. Exactly. That's the point. So I'm going to see if I can set this video up. YouTube doesn't do these long videos, so I'm going to see if Patreon does it. And I'm going to save a lot of the videos we've done. I'm going to start seeing what I can bring up, But I'll save this, David, and somehow, some way, maybe we can Dropbox it, whatever. But the point is, you guys, I'm going to try to set it up so that all of these lives are on Patreon. I'm definitely going to try YouTube, so it's free. But if I can't, then because there's a limitation, I think. I tried. I don't know. I'll have to check. I think I'll have to check. We'll see. No, there can't be limitations. I think I probably need to do a membership, and then there's no limits. I think that's the key with YouTube. I'll do my best, and then you'll see it. But I just want to thank you, David, for being so generous with your time and being such a beautiful spirit and a starseed leader, and really helping other people lead. And we all hands on deck, my friends. Okay. All right. Anything else, David, before we go?
And it's 11:11 here, so I said what I said.
God. Oh, you can't make this up. I love it.
You can't
Anything
make
else?
this
Oh, and it's
up.
nine. Yeah, it was 9:11 here, which is 11. Anything else?
Wow.
Yep. Anything
Oh no,
else?
I'm good. I feel content, and I'm just so grateful to be on this journey with all of you guys. And like I said, it's just the beginning, and
Mhm.
be looking forward to the Starseed meetups, because
Yes,
that's the next phase, is
yes.
integrating in the physical.
And then guess what? Rachel and Heather are saying 12, 12.
Wow.
Yes, okay. I can't. I love you all. I can't. This is too much. All right. So what I'm going to ask is David, let me know when you can do a live again, and let's like co-create it together so that we can go on in this
All
kind of
right.
format. I like it like that because it keeps it clean. And
Yes.
if you don't mind, and then I would love to. You tell me when it's possible for you, and I will announce it, and then we can do it, and you can invite your peeps and my peeps, and boom, and then we can
Oh,
co-create, and then all of them can start meeting each other in their respective countries and start those meetups. Okay, because that's going to be important.
beautiful.
Okay.
Amazing. Now I'll send you my WhatsApp as well.
Okay, I'm so honored. And my number's in your thing, and
Okay.
I'll text you again. Well, not text you, but I'll message you again my number. Okay, one last message to you all. You know they're shysters. They're gonna pose as David or me. They're gonna say, "Do you want a reading?" That's not me, and I know it's not David. So please don't get scammed. Okay,
Don't
love
get
you
scared.
all. Rachel says, "Love you all, Starseed fam." All right, much love.
Beautiful.
I don't want to say goodbye, but we
I
have.
know.
I don't want to say goodbye. Somebody hang up first. I'm just
We'll
kidding.
see, we'll see each other in the ethers tonight in our dreams.
Okay, I'll make sure the attention is there. All right, sending you much love on your
All
journey.
right. One
Namaste.
love, everyone.
Bye. Bye.